Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Analyzing Evil, where we dissect the motives, psychology, and philosophies of villains across media. Today we're delving into the twisted digital mind of one of Disney's most unappreciated yet fascinating antagonists, Turbo from Wreck-It Ralph. The arcade world is a rich metaphor for social roles and identity. Each game is a self-contained universe, and every character is a program assigned a role by the game's code. Ralph, for example, is the designated villain in Fix-It Felix Jr., smashing buildings so Felix can fix them. Though labeled a villain, Ralph is far from evil. He plays the role assigned to him, day in, day out, and is misunderstood by the NPCs in his game. Before becoming King Candy, Turbo was once the star of his own game, Turbo Time, a fast-paced racing game that drew crowds at the arcade. Turbo revealed in the attention, the cheering players, and the admiration. He was a hero in his own right, but that fame became his identity. So when newer, flashier games like Road Blasters arrived and started drawing players away, Turbo's pride couldn't take it. In a desperation act to remain relevant, he committed one of cardinal sin of the arcade world. He went turbo. He left his game, invaded another, and in doing so broke the fundamental rule of video game life. He interfered, corrupted both games, leading to their permanent shutdown. This should have been the end, but Turbo had other plans. This reality creates a society where programs are judged by their function rather than the intent. Ralph's arc is about transcending that function, seeking more than the role given to him by his game's code. He wasn't to be seen, respected, and understood beyond his job title, and that's what made the arcade world so compelling. Beneath the programmed roles are personalities, dreams, and desire for more. In contrast, Turbo represents the preservation of this system, where Ralph seeks self-discovery and growth. Turbo seeks control, relevance, and permanence, even if it means rewriting reality itself. His descent into villainy is driven by fear of being forgotten, replaced, and made obsolete. But Turbo didn't die with his game. He survived, and in exile, he reinvented himself. He infiltrated Sugar Rush, a whimsical kart racing game, and manipulated its code to become King Candy, erasing the memory and rightful identity of the true protagonist, Vanellope von Schweetz. In doing so, he rewrote the game's reality, positioning himself as the ruler while hiding his true identity. Turbo's greatest fear was repetition, that history would repeat itself and he'd be forgotten again. So, when Vanellope, a racer coded into the game's core, began to challenge his manufactured reign, he panicked. He labeled her a glitch, sabotaged her racing career, and convinced everyone that she was a threat to the game's survival. But the truth was simpler. She was a threat to his survival. By hiding her true identity and deleting her from the system's code, Turbo effectively erased a piece of the game's heart. He couldn't tolerate anyone being more powerful, more loved, or more central to the narrative than himself. His tyranny wasn't rooted in hatred. It was born of fear. Turbo's evil wasn't just about sabotage. It was about control, deception, and identity theft on a digital scale. He corrupted the world he invaded, transforming a bright and colorful world into a dystopia cloaked in sugar. What made Turbo so chilling is that his internal justification, from his perspective, he wasn't evil, he was merely surviving. He saw himself as the necessary presence. If he could no longer be loved for who he was, he would be feared for what he could become. His identity was so rooted in fame and adoration that he saw the rise of others like Vanellope as a threat to his very existence. He believed the system was unfair. He had once been a hero, and now he was discarded. Why shouldn't he take what he believed was owed to him? His philosophy mirrors real-world narcissism, the belief that one's desires and status justify manipulation, erasure, and even violence. To keep his secret safe, Turbo ensures Vanellope can never race because if she crosses the finish line, the game's original code will reset, revealing her as the true ruler of Sugar Rush. He gaslights her, calls her a glick, and spreads propaganda that she's dangerous. This emotional abuse is central to Turbo's manipulation, and when the climax approaches, Turbo fully unravels. He transforms into a monstrous hybrid after merging with a virus-like enemy from Hero's Duty, driven by rage, fear, and ego. It's no longer about winning the race. It's about erasing anyone who challenges him. Years later, Turbo reappeared under a new identity, King Candy, the ruler of Sugar Rush, a candy-themed kart racing game. But this wasn't just simple rebranding, it was identity. Turbo's goals was never to be loved for who he was, it was to be relevant, adored, above all, irreplaceable in the digital world. Turbo's end is poetic justice. He is ultimately deleted when Ralph makes the ultimate sacrifice, launching himself in danger to destroy the viral threat. Vanellope finishes the race. Her true identity is restored, and the world of Turbo, corrupted, resets to its rightful order. He's not just defeated physically. His ideology, his philosophy, and his need for control are rejected by the very world he tried to rule. Turbo's actions are undoubtedly villainous. He lies, manipulates, destroys, and murders to maintain control. But what makes him compelling is that his justification behind it all, in his mind, being forgotten, is a fate worse than deletion. He's not just trying to win, he's trying to exist. Is that evil, or is it desperation? In many ways, Turbo is a cautionary tale about ego, relevance, and the fear of being left behind. He didn't want to evolve. He wanted the world to stay the same so he could remain at the center of it. The difference between Ralph and Turbo is that Ralph eventually accepts who he is and grows. Turbo, on the other hand, digs deeper into denial until he crashes both figuratively and literally. Now we leave you with these questions. Was Turbo truly evil, or was he simply trying to survive in a world where irrelevance means deletion? Is he a mirror of our modern obsession where status and visibility, even if it comes at the cost of others, in the world where every character has a role to play? Does the desire to be more than your programming make you heroic or dangerous? And how does this contrast with Ralph, a character programmed to destroy, yet who longs to build something better? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.